Are SOC analysts in demand? The short answer is yes, but there is a caveat to that. Let's talk about it. First and foremost, what exactly is a SOC analyst? Well, SOC analysts are analysts who work in a security operations center, aka a SOC, and their main responsibilities are to monitor, detect, and respond to unauthorized activity that might compromise the CIA, confidentiality, integrity, and availability of an organization. With attackers being smarter every single day, we need defenders to be either on the same level or, better yet, be one step ahead of the attacker. But truth be told, that is a lot harder than it sounds. And one of the main reasons is due to usability. The more security you have, the more it impacts the user's usability/efficiency, which can compromise productivity. So organizations tend to find a balance between usability and security, often opting for the usability, which is why defending is that much harder compared to attacking. Now, how does this relate to a SOC analyst being in demand? Well, with a balance between usability and security, there will always be gaps where a security analyst is going to be the key to detect, monitor, and respond to potential threats. Because if there is a gap, that means there is an opportunity for an attacker to take advantage of that gap. Now, you might ask, why can't an organization just invest in a tool instead of a SOC analyst? And you're right. They can, but if you remember at the end of the day, a tool is just a tool. It can and will be bypassed and tampered with given enough time. And a SOC analyst is a human being. We get tired, we miss things, we aren't perfect, and will be taken advantage of because we are just too kind. However, if a SOC analyst and a tool work together, that will decrease the chances of an organization experiencing a successful compromise. The important thing to note here is that not all SOC analysts are in demand. The ones who can only perform Tier 1 responsibilities, which are responding to alerts and performing basic triage, are slowly being replaced by a proper SOAR solution. SOAR being security, orchestration, automation, and response. And those type of analysts are not in demand, unfortunately. Previously, companies would want bodies to help with Tier 1 responsibilities, but with a proper SOAR solution, it can help cover a majority of these responsibilities, making it a no-brainer for organizations to heavily invest in SOAR. So which SOC analysts are in demand? The ones who can contribute to SOAR and provide value. If you haven't seen my previous video on what makes a great SOC analyst, I talk about the 5 traits that will help you become a better SOC analyst. And if done correctly, it will help you provide more value. As for SOAR, SOAR works on playbooks, which are automated workflows. I'm not asking you to code, but instead, do a lot of hands-on labs, and when you're going through them, develop a methodology and understand why you're doing what you're doing. Jot down the steps and rinse and repeat. This will eventually lead to a playbook down the road where you can map out all of the steps and have AI assist you in creating one, which will then eventually feed into a SOAR and perform automation so you can focus on what really matters, which are investigations. Without knowing how to investigate, you'll have a hard time in the SOC. I want you to imagine 2 scenarios. In both scenarios, you are applying to a SOC analyst role, and in the nice to have section, it has SOAR experience as a bonus. In the first scenario, you get an interview with this company and you mention that you have done various projects that built up your hands-on skills, you have experience working with various tools, and certifications that can back it up. There's a nice back and forth conversation between you and the hiring manager, and everything is going well. Now for the second scenario. You get an interview with the company and you mention that you have done various projects that built up your hands-on skills. You have experience working with various tools and certifications that can back it up. But you also mention that you have completed various labs and have a GitHub repository full of playbooks for specific use cases that you've created from the various labs. And you're currently in the process of trying to implement them in Shuffle. Which one do you think would have a better outcome? Probably the second scenario. I mean, both showed initiative in completing projects, but one went the extra mile and learned more about SOAR and developed their own playbooks. I am going to bet that the second scenario candidate would either be hired or move on to the next round. Now, you might ask, Steven, playbooks are scary. How do I start? And the answer is quite simple. Ask yourself, what do you do majority of the time when performing a lab? Do you often check OSINT, aka open source intelligence, for additional information? If yes, jot that down, make a note of it. What happens if the IP or domain or whatever you are looking for has a high reputation and was flagged as malicious? Do you block it? Do you report it? Regardless of the action, jot that down, and before you know it, you're already building yourself a playbook. A playbook is just a number of logical steps. You don't need to learn how to code, but it will be super helpful. To recap, not all SOC analysts are in demand, unfortunately. Those who are stuck in a tier 1 mindset are no longer enough. SOC analysts who have the 5 traits and can perform investigations while contributing to SOAR will be more valuable in a SOC environment, and those are the ones in demand. If you aren't aware, I have an upcoming SOC course, and the goal for me is to help those who enroll become an amazing SOC analyst. There will be 5 exclusive SOC projects, where 2 of the 5 projects will include playbook building. If you want to sign up, I'll leave a link down below for you to do so. And that is it for the video. I hope you found that informative. If you did, let me know by hitting that like button and subscribe if you want to. Remember to stay curious and do things differently.